Rivers State has been navigating a complex political landscape with various stakeholders vying for influence, while the state's economic importance and strategic location have contributed to its political significance. They have also created an environment where competing interests can sometimes lead to tensions as the state moves forward. It is essential to find a balance between the competing demands of different groups to achieve this. To achieve this balance, it's crucial to prioritize dialogue and constructive engagement by fostering an environment where diverse voices can be heard and valued. The state can build trust and create a sense of ownership among its citizens. This in turn can help to reduce tensions and create a more stable political climate. On our program today, we shall be looking at the Rivers political situation and the way out. Thanks for joining us on Nigeria Today. I am your carrier, Clinton. Welcome. Now with me in the studio for the conversation is Jide Ojo. He's a public affairs analyst. It's good to have you on the program, Jide.
My pleasure, UK.
Also with us for the conversation is Atiku Abubakar Isa. He's also a public affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers.
Now, I'll start with you, Jide. Of course, Rivers State has witnessed chains of events, with the recent being the shunning of the refusal of the lawmakers to honor the invitation given by the governor, and of course, the warrant of arrest on commissioners, and of course, the RCEC chairman. Now, what do you make of this entire situation, leading to this recent event?
Thank you. I've had cause to weigh in on this Rivers issue at least twice in the last 1 year. I've written in my column in the Punch newspaper my own analysis of how this whole event came to be. One of them is even titled From Genesis to Revelation, of how this happened actually October 2023. That was when this whole crisis brewed, when there was a rumor that the governor was going to be impeached, and then in order to avert that impeachment move, a section of the State House of Assembly was touched, and then the State House of Assembly has to relocate to somewhere else. And in the aftermath of that, a section of the State House of Assembly had to be pulled down by the governor on the pretext that the building have structural challenge after the inferno. And of course, we also know that there was division in the House. One member of the Rivers State House of Assembly died. Then there was 31. Out of that 31, 4 belonged to the camp of the governor, Sim Fubara. 27 belonged to the camp of the former governor, Nyesom Wike. Then you have the scenario that played out with the State House of Assembly, the local government, when their tenure ended last year, the Martin Amewule Assembly extended the tenure of the then members of the local government, the elected members, and the governor's camp kicked against it. Of course, the Supreme Court decision of July 11, 2024 came in and averted a bloodbath, because recall that after the tenure of the local government chairman and councillor ended, Governor Fubara appointed caretaker committee members. And it was in the bid to take over that the Supreme Court decision of July came. Of course, we must not forget that President Tinubu in December 2023 weighed in to mediate in this and asked that the warring faction should sheath their sword and stop the impeachment move. Then the commissioners who have resigned, 9 of them, who have resigned from the cabinet of Sim Fubara, should be reabsorbed. and that there should be due recognition of Amewule faction. Now, of course, in October last year, the aftermath of the Supreme Court decision, St. Fubara ordered asked the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission to organize another election, which was held on October 5, 2024. That election, as well as the Martin Amewule's faction, was duly recognized by the Supreme Court decision of 28th of February, which now said, even though, these 27 members defected, the issue before the Supreme Court is about, one, the declaration. When the president mediated earlier, the initial suit that was filed by the governor's council, he withdrew it as part of the mediation process. And that saved the day for the Amewule faction, because now in a bid to nail their coffin that they defected, because on December 11, 2023, they actually said that they have defected from PDP to APC. But now that is being denied, that they never defected. There was nowhere their names were in the APC register. But one thing we must know, Eukarya, is this is all politics. And this politics is about 2027. And it's about controlling the levers of power. Now, the Supreme Court judgment of February 28th ordinarily should have laid all the crises to rest. But it won't, because as we say in Yoruba land, you don't come back from the court and become friends. Usually litigation, the aftermath of litigation ends in bitterness, enmity, and all of that. And that's what is playing out. From that time, you saw the Amewule faction, who has been strengthened, ordering the governor present the budget for 2025 within 48 hours. And then the Rivers State chairman, we want to see you in 48 hours, because their hands have been strengthened. But you see, obviously, St. Fubara, in the real sense of it, on the face value, seem to have lost. But the people are with him. And people, some are urging him on not to give in. And that's why another suit is already in the Rivers State, I don't know whether High Court or Federal High Court, challenging the defection of the Amewule faction. But the Supreme Court, really speaking, my own position is that there will be no end to litigation if you want to continue to approach the court. Okay. The best is to seek political solution to dance all the tension. I'll have to stop you here,
Jide, so that article will come in here to, of course, Jide has said a lot by giving us in fact, the genesis down to the revelation of the whole situation. Tell us, what is your take on the entire situation?
My take is simple. The solution to the crisis in Rivers State will be better being handled politically instead of going into litigation. And I have to be very frank here that the activities of the Minister of FCT in Rivers State is causing tension. One, he is not the only former governor of Rivers State. We have Dr. Odili.
His name has not really been mentioned in all of this. Like if you
no, this is we need to understand this thing. No, it's not about mentioning names. Let's talk about
the issues, the people now involved. We're talking about the House of Assembly. We're talking about the government.
The House of Assembly members are errand boys to Wike. They are errand boys. Once he asks them to do anything, they do. They run. Stop, they stop. We are involved in this politics, and we understand how the game is being played. See. Mr. President needs to.
Say, you know that.
They really do not have a say, because you see, let me tell you this: how this thing is done. Usually, most of the members, those that are loyal to the FCT minister, did not obtain the nomination form. The forms were given to them, and then they were supported to become members of assembly.
We don't have that fact.
We need to go into
Let's just talk about the issues.
Yes, the issues. There's no way you can discuss the politics of Rivers State. Whether you like Wike or not, his name must, you must mention him. But what we are saying is that we have Dr. Peter Odili, we have Right Honorable Rotimi Abenshi. These are, the two of them are his predecessors, and they are his bosses. There is no way. So they are still alive. You see, if you are unable to manage whoever you have brought to power, you cannot, because of your own political interest, pull down the whole thing. What is happening? Mr. President needs to come in, just like he did the other time. He's the father of the nation. He needs to. So, because if this crisis continues like this, lives will be lost. The lives of well-meaning Nigerians will be lost, because there's no way. This tension is not good. Why would the governor even invite them? They will not honor the invitation. That's the governor of the state. They deserve to respect the governor of the state. Even when you disagree, you still disagree and respect those that deserve to be respected. So that is my what I am saying. So in all of these things, while they play the politics, they should play healthy politics. And the way it is going now, with the way no impeachment, and look at how what they did to the State House of Assembly in Rivers State. A lot of money has been wasted, and then they will make budgetary provision again to go and reconstruct another State House of Assembly again. So all of these things are not good. So that what we are saying is that all these men need to come together and know that there is no way the state can. They are not the most important people in the state. There are other citizens, so why should this trouble continue all the time? And there's no way we will not mention names if we have to be frank and explain all these things for people to understand.
Thank you very much, Achiku. Now, Jide, with what has been going on so far, like when of course, like you rightly mentioned, that the governor was invited to the assembly by the lawmakers, and of course the governor also, like from what we gathered, also invited the lawmakers for as a means of reconciliation and all of that. Now, would you say that both parties have shown enough commitment to keeping peace in the state?
The truth is no, because one good thing I must emphasize that largely the factions have resorted to litigation as a means of resolving their crisis. So if they have resorted to self-help, we will have been counting numbers of dead and maimed and all of that. Remember, there was a time past when rivers is called rivers of blood. It used to be bloody rivers. Election time and this is not the first political turmoil that Rivers State has gone through.
We don't want all that.
No. What I'm saying is that, in terms of when Peter Odili was governor, he has his own political crisis. Chibika Amiche has his own, even with the former, governor, now FCT minister. Now it's the turn of Sinfubara and Wike. The bottom line is that in politics, there will always be disagreement. And when there is a disagreement, elders must come together to mediate. The reason why this has not been laid to rest is that there is still a lot of ego and muscle flexing. It's either my way or highway. You ask me whether the two factions have shown commitment. I would say not enough. Not enough in the sense that, for instance, what stops Mr. Governor from releasing the withheld funds of the the withheld funds of the House of Assembly members? They've not been paid since the crisis started way back in October 2023. And you see, you cannot starve them of funds and think they will answer to your call. So I had expected, as a matter of showing respect and good faith, the withheld fund allowances, salaries that are due to those 27 members should have been released. Now, if that is released, and then you go and present the budget to them, you have nothing to hide. it is within the prerogative and the constitutional responsibility of a governor to present budget. After all, he presented the same budget to 4 members led by Victor Okojombo, who has now been disregarded. That is number one. Number two, on the side of Martin Amewule, I've also asked them saying, oh, the Okojombo people have been suspended, they cease to be members of the assembly. No, the Supreme Court in its consequential order said all of them. It did not say this faction or that faction. All of them should resume their legislative duties. So what went on in the past should remain in the past. Edison Ayiye had resigned and has become the chief of staff to Sim Fubara. That one is -1. Then the one that is dead, -2. INEC needs to go and reconduct election into those 2 state constituencies. But for Okojombo and 3 others, as well as the 27 on the Amewule faction, now they have to work harmoniously together. And if the governor does not have anything to hide, you lay the same budget 2025 before the Okojombo assembly. What stops you from also submitting that same budget or an amended version of it that will take care of the interest of the legislative assembly? Because now the assembly will be waiting to see what manner of budget are you going to bring. If there is nothing in it for us, we will not pass it. And if they don't pass it, that will further aggravate the situation. So what I'm saying is that the 2 factions must show commitment. And I have advised on other platforms that the solution to Rivers crisis does not lie in Rivers State. I have had cause to call on eminent statesmen, in fact, National Peace Committee, headed by Revered Abdulsalami Abubakar, Bishop of Sokoto Archdiocese, Bishop Matthew Azankuka, General Yakubu Gowon, people like that, people who have no stake, who are not contractors, who are not looking for what to eat. Because what has happened now, why this crisis has first started, is because those who are eating from Fubara does not want him to give in. Those who are eating from Wike does not want him to give in. And because they are profiting from the crisis, they don't want it to end. So they will continue to whisper, don't allow. Let's go back to court. Let the court make this. See, election, by this time next year, it will be another election season. I hope you know that. Yeah. And when that happens, nobody will be talking about governance. And that's what Sim Fubara should know, that his name is what will be mentioned after he leaves office. What does he want to be remembered for? There must be people of goodwill, elder statesmen that should be invited to mediate. Mediation, alternative dispute resolution is what needed to be pursued at this point.
Okay, now, Atiku, I know, of course, you mentioned, there's an impending crisis. Now, what do you think should be done? Of course, GD here has mentioned mediation by neutral parties, neutral persons, even from other states, if possible, to come into this issue. Now, what do you think can be done to de-escalate, tension and, ensure political stability in River State?
I think the ADR which he mentioned, the alternative dispute resolution, will be the best approach in this case. And the eminent personalities he has mentioned, they can handle this situation because both parties will have to respect them, because as at when they were much younger, these people held their positions of authority. So I think they need to step in at this time to call the 2 of them and then talk to them to see reasons why they should stop this so that the state can move forward. And these personalities can do that because both the FCT minister and the governor of Rivers State, they will have to respect these elder statesmen. So, and of course, these elder statesmen have nothing to, they are not looking for anything again. They have reached the zenith of their careers, and they do not need anything in this world again except in the hereafter. So they would be able to say the truth to all of them. I even caution them because they are like children to these people now. If both they are like they are children, so they can say, "You stop this. Why did you do this? Why don't do this again?" And at the end of the day, we will have peace. I think let me use this opportunity to call on them that if they are listening, that they should please, because a tiny stick of match ignited by a naughty playful shard on a combustible object may develop into an inferno that could consume a whole village. But if an elder around will keep a watchful eye or rise immediately to put out the initial playful fire, it will save the whole village and the content therein. That is why they need to step in at this moment to save the situation and save Nigeria.
Yes, of course, Jide, we're talking about peace here, the way out, you know, of this crisis. A lot of some stakeholders have said, look, there's impending crisis if both parties don't shift their sword, if they don't, you know, resolve these issues. Now, I want you to give us your final word on this, and of course, talk to the persons involved in these issues. To see.
No, there's nothing more to add beyond the fact that if they truly had the interest of Rivers State at heart, they must give peace a chance. Like Onyeka Owenu of blessed memory sang, give peace a chance. See, these old rhetorics, I wonder, why will an assembly be ordering a governor 48 hours, I want to see this? You don't do that to an executive governor. You don't order him around. In an ideal democracy, you must, even if it's a younger person to you, you must show respect. But it is not for me to say who is right or who is wrong. The most important thing is that both of them have their own fair share of blame. And this is not the time to trade blame. Rivers is the treasure base of Nigeria. If there is a crisis, like my brother said, if a tiny mastic, if you don't quickly nip it in the bud, the oil production that Nigeria is looking at, 2.2 million, or is it 2.5 million we want to get to in 2025, will be a mirage, because if the Joy youths are already threatening that any act of impeachment of Fubara will lead to the destruction of pipeline, they will lead to bloodbath. That is not what is needful at this point. Which is why I'm saying the elder statesmen can call these two dramatic personnel together, summon them to Abuja, have a closed door meeting with them, scold them if there is need be, but let them leave that place with a resolution to work for the unity of Rivers State and Nigeria. Because what affects Rivers will affect the entire country. Look at the multi-million-dollar investment that Nigeria, the NLNG is in Bonny, is in Rivers. The refinery that we spent $1.5 million, you know, to refurbish, that just started work, is in Rivers. So there's a lot Nigerian state as at stake, and that's why everything must be done to ensure peace and peaceful resolution of the political crisis in Rivers State.
Of course, all hands must be on deck to ensure that this peace, happens in Rivers State. This is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for your time and your sharing your perspective with us. And also, we have Atiku Abubakar Isa, a public affairs analyst also. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for being there. I'm Mikaria Clinton. Goodbye.